Hey, what's going on, relatives? Just seeing if giving everybody a shout out who's in the chat. Want to say what's up, see how everybody doing. Now, today's topic, which might be a little off base, is when the problems of a third world country hit a first world country. We'll talk about some randomness a little bit later, though. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, we look around at what's going on. What's going on in the world, everything that's happening, and it seems like the panic is widespread. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I'm going out and actually, to be honest, it seemed like just people watching realistically. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I'm going out. But yeah, that's what I was thinking about. And I wanted to address today what's actually going on out there. Does anybody really know? Has anybody been out there and seen? Or a lot of it could possibly be just, you know, people being jam packed and buying everything they can, hoarding, et cetera, et cetera. But ultimately, just stay calm. For real. Just stay calm, breathe, relax. Everything, this is going to pass over, just like many other things. People are getting reckless. So that's one thing. But I do want to talk about that. So let me grab this link. Okay. 1 second, trying to copy the link so I can put it in the chat. And paste. There we go. So yeah, this is kind of a touchy subject. Everybody's going mad right now. But figuring out we're actually pretty spoiled in this country. And I think we forgot how blessed and how fortunate we are. I don't think many people remember that being in this country, we forget certain things like what it's like to struggle sometimes. Our struggles are really nothing compared to some third world countries. And not trying to knock anybody's struggles or anything else, but we forget how blessed and how fortunate we are to actually be here, to be in a country with, there are certain things that go on, but we still have access to a lot of things: clean food, running water. There's abundance of so many things, but we get forgetful and we start taking things for granted. Um, just looking back on my grandmother and my family, they always had prepared. They always stocked up, just like a lot of people's families did, especially if you were in. My grandmother comes from North Carolina. So when she came up here towards Ohio, they had taught us how to stock up heavy. And there was nothing wrong with that. Different strokes for different folks. But, you know, as old as she was, she didn't want to place the burden of having to go out on anyone. So literally, they would stock up, they'd sit there and breathe easy. And during the winter months, grandma didn't have to go out. She didn't have to trek with slip and falls. And she normally had enough canned goods to last, I think, about 5 years, honestly. Yeah, it was a trip back then. But ultimately, I want people to realize, just breathe easy right now. Take this as a time to sit with your family and to chill, to breathe easy and to see the good things in life. There's so much going on and so much negativity. Don't let it bog you down. Try and smile through. And those who stay strong, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, those who stay strong will show others and will lead by that example. Um, just never forget how fortunate you are. Like I said, there's other countries that have these problems on a regular basis: food running out, people hoarding, different things going on, not enough food to eat. We live in abundance, you know, and I don't know everyone's living situation, but we do have it pretty good. So, yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody of that. Stay calm. If you don't trust your water, boil your water, do something like that. Just like I mentioned in my last video, this is a reality check. This is a test of your whatever broadcasting system. This is literally a test. People have to sit down and realize that after this, you may never look at things the same. We are on the verge of something that we've never seen. I've been talking to people, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but this should alter and turn around your viewpoint in life. This should change the way you think about things or possibly preparing for a little bit longer. You know, maybe get an extra week worth of food, 2 weeks worth of food, 3 weeks. I sat and I would go to the CDC website and I would watch the warnings, and it went from have an extra 2 weeks worth of food. This was 2 years ago. To have an extra month's worth of food, to have an extra, 6 weeks worth of food. Then it bumped up to 2 months. And I was like, wow, man, this is crazy. And I'm noticing the CDC is saying that and the government's saying it, but people aren't paying attention. They're telling you to stock up on food, keep a little extra. I'm not saying they knew this was coming, hint, hint, but we were getting warning signs to stock up. Something big was coming, possibly an economic collapse. I didn't think it would be this. When we don't know what actually is going on with this. So it's a great time to be alive. But take this as time to really learn to get with your family, get with your friends, and enjoy your life. If I don't know what they're saying is going to happen, at this point, I'm just really enjoying the time that I have with the people around me, getting on here and getting a good laugh with you guys. I don't normally get to go live, so this is pretty unusual, but due to the fact of what job I do, they've been canceling a lot here lately, especially in Ohio. But right now is a great time to be alive. Sit down, get a good game going with friends and family, just being able to chill, breathe easy, and relax. So that's why I enjoy coming on here, speaking to everybody out, out in the chat. And I want to thank everybody for being here. Believe me, it's greatly appreciated. But ultimately, look at this as a learning experience. I can't overstress that. To stock up, are people stocked? Wherever you come from, if you think back and you think back before the refrigerator, you think back before the invention of lights, widespread electricity, what we think people lived on a week-to-week basis. Realistically, no, people had things in stock. People put a little bit extra back just in case. Or you ever went to your grandparents' house and they had that little jar of just in case money that was sitting up? It just showed. We got Legacy in the building. What's going on with you, my brother?
Peace, peace. Listening to you right now. Uh, yeah, man. You telling everybody the right thing. Um, this is not a time to panic, even though it's kind of hard not to. Me myself, I went out and got a lot of food. It wasn't because I was worried about food running out, but the problem is you have so many people panicking and running and grabbing all the stuff. That's what kind of worried me that other people would have it and then I may not. So but other than that, man, we just in here just trying to deal with it. My family has respiratory issues, asthma, stuff like that. So I'm not allowing them to go to work or school at this moment. So yeah, it's a lot going on. We just finished playing a board game. I'm gonna try to order some more stuff. Also, people out there, man, if you're trying to get stuff off Amazon, especially with kids being home and stuff like that, go ahead and get your school workbooks and things like that now, because it's gonna take a while for them to replenish those with so many kids being home. People are ordering them up. So whatever you do need, I don't think it's the end of the world or anything like that, but you might have to survive for a few months at this point.
Yeah, and that's what it really is. Like being able to sit down and he said food running out in South Central LA. Yeah, it's getting bad, man. It's getting bad. And I'm not telling people to look at it like that. The panic buying will stop. It has to stop eventually. But that's why taking $10 a week or $10 every 2 weeks and going and grabbing beans and rice and maybe a case of water and just sitting it back, you'd be amazed how far $10 or $20 a week can actually take you over a long period of time. But it's those who are unprepared who are doing the panic buying. I'm not saying, don't go out and buy your necessities, yes, but ultimately the panic buying will subside. It's going to happen. But for those, you know, think ahead. We never know what's going to happen. This is just something that caught us off guard, that caught everyone off guard. But since we never truly know what's going to happen, what does if you can afford a 10-pound bag of rice a week and just put it up in a Mylar bag and sit it in a container? Maybe, me personally, I like to buy a 50-pound bag of rice per month, depending on where you get it. I'm a fan of jasmine rice. Um, yes, eucalyptus oil in the diffusers. That's a good antiviral. Um, Sage. I love to burn sage just for purifying and cleansing, but it said that sage kills 94% of airborne bacteria and viruses in the air. So that in itself, there's a lot of things people can do to prepare, and just a little bit at a time. You don't have to run out and just snatch up stuff as soon as you see it, because now there are people who, of course, I don't know if anyone read the news about the man who had 1,700 bottles of hand sanitizer. He was price gouging, and then
Yeah, they
eventually
shut
they
them down.
banned him. They literally banned this man from and won't allow him to sell on anything. So now he's forced to donate it because he was price gouging for masks and he was price gouging for hand sanitizer. It was insane.
Yeah, well, he's foolish anyway. I mean, um, you could there's other ways to go about stuff, man. I mean, it's just evil what people do. One thing that I did, well, I'm lucky actually, man, and I thank all the people that are out there that have been helping me genealogy, in any way, whether it was paying for genealogy or helping me, giving me knowledge about certain things. I want to thank y'all, man, or I wouldn't have had the extra money to go through the things that I needed to do. As soon as this thing jumped off, man, I went and grabbed me a little deep freezer, packed it with some meat, packed rice and stuff like that because I wasn't prepared. I'm just going day by day, man, and I'm out here screaming Indian and talking all this stuff, man, and I'm not even really ready. So it's easy to get caught up in there. I mean, there's no one to blame except for the encroachers. But now that we in this situation and we see what it is, now we can't let ourselves be vulnerable like that again.
All the hype and then and however people feel about this, what I'm about to say, I really don't care. But ultimately, sometimes we can take from our budgets of things that we feel are necessities that really aren't necessities. Sometimes we can take from things that we don't believe, that new pair of shoes, that nice press shirt, different things like that. Take the $20 and go, go grab something. Just, I don't know how much, people really spend on them shirts, but an extra shirt can wait a week if you can afford it, of course. But yeah, go out, grab a couple things. Make sure that you and your family are situated, because last time I checked, you could eat clothes, but man, I don't know how well that would taste. Like, maybe throw some hot sauce on it, or uh, throw some spices, but yeah, you can't eat that. So be able to sit back and, while you starving looking at that new outfit you got, like, oh man, that thing tastes good.
Mm,
And it doesn't really work out. So be able to stock up, grab a couple things, and remember, like you said, the board games are fun. Even if you do video games, just something to be able to enjoy. And yeah, actually, Patrick Vincent, the trade war did backfire real bad. Okay, there we go.
yeah, yeah, I would say too, man, with all the stuff going on, I know we're fashionable people and all that stuff, man, but especially people listening to this, because 9 times out of 10, the people that are listening to this right now are grown people, man. We gotta stop worried about looking fly and all this nonsense, man. If you're gonna be an Indian, man, be an Indian. We gotta cut a lot of that out. It's okay to get some nice things here and there. You want to go out with your wife, your husband, or whatever, maybe go somewhere with some friends or something like that. It's okay to have something nice, man. But the extremities and stuff like that, it just doesn't make sense, man. We're paying all these price for just regular stuff, man, for rubber, plastic, maybe a little bit of leather, just to feel important, man. So we just got to get out of that. Everything that we did before, we gotta change it. We gotta get back to how our people did it. Our people made their own clothes. If, stuff like that. They might have wore the same thing, every Sunday to go to church or whatever like that. That was normal. Now it isn't because we just have all these privileges and stuff like that, man. But really, it's just wastefulness. Like the video that you did before about the how many gallons of water to make a shirt, one T-shirt and stuff like that. I mean, it's ridiculous. So we just gotta. It's gonna take time for us to change, but we have to start the change. But most important is survival. So get your survival books. Learn how to dry your food. Um, how to what do you call it? Cure your meat, different stuff like that. Learn hunting techniques and things like that because it's not gonna last forever. And you might live your whole life and never have to hunt. But what about your fifth grade grandchildren? That's what we got to think about right now. If we don't start teaching our kids all of this stuff now, if we don't learn it and teach them now, their fifth, sixth, seventh grade grandkids are going to starve to death.
And we got Reginald Green in the building. And what's going
Hey,
on?
peace, peace. How y'all doing today on the panel?
Peace, peace.
But to what you were saying, yes, like to the clothes, like my grandma was knitting all her life, so she know how to make clothes, and like she taught some of us how to knit our own clothes. Like now we stay in the city, but my grandma, was all in the country before they came to the city. Like I was the first city baby out of everybody that's in my family, because everybody was from the country area, out there in Cargan, Texas. But we still have houses and stuff that's still out there. But there's no like no signal towers to go out there. So basically, you have to memorize the area on top of your head, the area with the house and stuff. And like we usually go like twice a year or once a year, like usually to because we still have family members that stay out there and check on stuff. Like, and I'll tell anybody this, like if you like grow your own food and stuff, because my family had that, they still have that. So we not like in a crisis trouble like with my family situation. If it ever go down to that point, we just go back to the country where we from and live out there in the country.
That's what you need to do. That's what I suggest. All you people, we got to get back to it, man. There ain't no playing it. It feel good to try to stay in this comfortable situation, but that's just not what it is. Especially if you're talking about you an Indian or whatever you want to call yourself, man. We gotta start getting back to that, man. I can't wait. I'm begging to go to the country right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm happy you brought that up. Being being an Indian is more than it's a way of life. It's a culture. It's a it's a beautiful existence. Being one with nature. Getting out fishing, hunting, doing all those things. It truly is a way of life and a belief system. Being able to get out. Me personally, I like fly fishing. I enjoy fly fishing, bass fishing, you name it, I do it. Fishing's my thing. It's just something I was raised in us as kids. And being able to catch this wake up call, this really should be a reality check. That's all I can say, man. I was talking to my aunt. My aunt's 65 years old. She says she ain't never seen nothing like this in her life. Her mother is 80, 85. Said she's never seen nothing like this in her life. So I'm seeing people who literally 85, 90, who are saying they've never seen anything like this. So But I remember we had a blizzard of 2005 up here. Everyone was blocked in for a couple days. Some people's power went out. People weren't able to run out and buy gifts, different things like that. That was one of the best Christmases that many people can remember just because of the time they spent together. Oh, Mr. Dark Brother, I'm gonna drop the link in the chat if you want to hop in, my friend. But many people, that was the best Christmas they had ever had. And they, out of all the years that they had had electricity and they had had everything else and they had all these big commodities, but the time they really got to sit down and spend with their family, that was it right there. That's what made the biggest impact on them, regardless of they didn't have many gifts, or me personally, I don't celebrate, but it was just a great time. Just being snowed in, sitting together. Like I said, I'm seeing some beautiful things out there. I'm seeing some ugly stuff too, but I am seeing some beautiful stuff out there where people are sharing, people are talking to each other, people who wouldn't even say nothing to each other on a daily basis are actually speaking back and forth. And it's a wonderful thing to see, especially in a time of this. But um, like
Hey,
Reggie said, oh, sorry, go ahead, my brother.
no, I was gonna say to speak on what you were saying. Like in Houston, we had a hurricane. It was 2006. I think it was Hurricane Isaac, if I'm not mistaken. That hit Houston. All the power was out down here, and like the people in my community came together. Like we started cook, like they started barbecuing and stuff, and had a feast outside. Like everybody was getting along, like because the power was out for like 2 weeks, and everybody was sharing food and stuff. Like the part of Houston where I'm from, when that situation happened down here with the hurricane.
Yeah, yeah. We need to get back to it though, man. I miss being with the family. I already missed it. So now, I'm just sitting back and just pondering things, thinking about things. I get on here and I talk and I say some real things and I joke around and stuff like that. But I actually sit around and think about a lot of these things all the time. So now, looking at my family being home and everything, I'm like, man, this is what it needs to be. She like, oh well, they said he could come back to school and this time with the I say he's not going back to school. I'm done. I'm done with the same thing. We did that already. I was in school. I was indoctrinated. I was in the system and all of that stuff or whatever. I'm just not gonna do it anymore. So my 4-year-old, he gonna stay home. He want to have fun or something like that when it clears up. Then hey, we find some neighbors, kids he could play with or something like that, or his cousins or whatever, and we'll just have to work it like that until we can relocate and get closer to some tribal members, and then their kids could play with my kids, and hopefully we could build a school together. But I just wanted to read something real quick, and then I'm gonna hop off because I really just need to even sit and think about everything that I just said and all the things that I've heard so far. I just got this book, The Bushcraft Field Guide to Trapping, Gathering, and Cooking in the Wild by David Canterbury. But then I turned to the dedication, and he says, I would like to dedicate this book to my loving granddaughter, Layla. In the many books, articles, and other forms of media I generate, I wish that she will be able to see me and read my words many years from now, and that her children may know who their grandfather was, and that he enjoyed passing on the knowledge of his forefathers, so that she may pass on this knowledge to future generations through my written words. I think that leaving a legacy for others to enjoy is a true blessing and gift from God, and this gift I dedicate to her. So that's powerful. That's what we've been talking about. Um, we got to have something to really really pass on, and we have to protect the ones that are after us, and that's what I got from this. Not just him saying that she would read my words and whatever, that she would be able to get gain that, to get that knowledge and cherish that knowledge. So I think it's a beautiful thing, and we got to start thinking about that. We got to start thinking generations ahead, and enough is enough with the games. I've been saying that already, but now it's like, come on, are we gonna wait 2 months after this? Then we're gonna forget? Can't do that. Enough is enough.
Ain't that?
Yeah, I'll go say yeah, that's the truth. But yeah, this will be a test of time to see, like, for each one individual, because like if somebody else don't have it and you do, like, this will see if we really care about each other, sharing or anything else. Like if certain person can't feed their children, but we have the food to feed their children, then this would be show you show you if you accept this type of person or we gonna come together.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share, man. Thanks for having me on. I need to go and see what's up with the fam, and I need to just sit and think about some things. But yeah, man, I love what you're doing, brother. Keep it going. You already know. Dog brother, what's up? And Reginald, thanks for coming on, man. All right, one love.
Oh, many blessings, man. Many
All right,
blessings.
peace.
Yeah, this truly a time for reflection.
Well,
Oh, Mr. Dark Bro, Fly Brother, what's going on, man?
yes, sir. Peace, peace. Love to the Shabbat tonight. Peace, Anu. Peace, Reginald. Peace to the entire chat. How you guys doing tonight?
Oh, doing well.
I'm doing good myself, man. Just
That's
trying to
good. That's good.
spread a little love around here in these crazy times.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. You know what's crazy when you can't find no toilet paper, but I ain't gonna even go there.
Man, oh man. Dude, I'm telling you. Um,
Yes, sir.
a lot like
Yes, sir.
that's all I can really say. There's a lot going on, and people are taking this as something different than what it's supposed to be. Like I said, it's a learning time. It's a trying time. It's a time to sit with your family and enjoy and laugh and crack up, man. Turn on a good comedy, turn on some kids shows with the kids, and man, dude, okay, now I know you're gonna laugh at me. Please don't. I sat down and watched Ernest. I don't know if y'all remember Ernest Goes to Camp and Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yeah, I
Man,
remember Ernest Goes to Camp.
Oh, that's I've seen that show, but it was like before my time.
hey, well, right now is the best time to go back and watch some of them old movies, man, and be able to laugh and smile and just enjoy, and this next time around, I think everybody's learned. Yeah, check out how many roots got it, Vern. What's going on, Vern? But it's a good time. Red Bird said he watching Sanford and Son daily. That's what it's about. I mean, but having respect
Yes,
for
sir.
each other.
That's one of the shows that I watch a lot myself.
Hey, it's a good show, man. Like, see, when I come up, and I don't know how many people can relate to this or not, but when I was coming up, we always had pictures of families like Family Matters. We always had Steve Urkel. You always had shows that had a meaning to you, and that was what the family was built around. And then you would take those and look at it in your real life and be like, okay, wait, hold on, something doesn't match real well. So being able to install those truths now and watch those and try and be able to teach those to your family and kids now, it's a little different.
Oh, dude, you know what else would be a good thing that I know that when a lot of adults don't do, probably because they think they tired and old, play tag with your children. They think it's a loss of joy. That'll bring a abundant moment between you and your child, hide and go see, and all these other fun stuff you could do in the house. Like you said, board games and stuff. Run, play tag. She go hide, and y'all try to tag each other and everything. Board games, like you said, all that would be all that's a good moment for you and your children because they don't look at it as a negative way because they think nothing on this earth is nothing wrong with nothing. So we have to make them feel like every day it's a joy to be here.
Well, here's a weird thing, man. I want to bring this up, and it's basically good dude. I mean, we used to go fishing. That's all we did. We go to the dock, we go fishing. One day, I got older, and then I ran to the streets. Then it was like, all right, man, we gonna go fishing. And I'd say tomorrow. And then, he'd hit me up again, be like, hey, nephew, when you trying to go fishing? And I'd say tomorrow. And it was always tomorrow. And then as I got older, I realized, like, man, I do owe my uncle some time. We really need to go out and kick it and go fishing. And man, I'd call him and be like, maybe tomorrow. Do it again, maybe tomorrow. I didn't realize he was sick. Well, tomorrow never came. So I never got to take that fishing trip. But through that lesson, I learned, man, that whenever I get to go fishing, and I'm not going to wake up and tell my kids or my family members, I try not to tell them tomorrow, because there ain't no better time than today to get it done and to be able to get things done in this time that we have. So that's why it's good to get out there and enjoy. And like you said, play tag, do different things like that, because you may not be able to remember a single thing your parents bought you, but I guarantee you can remember the hug your mom or your grandma gave you. My dad was good for giving me noogies, and I don't know what that was about, but I could, remember that. But I can't tell you what he bought me, or I can remember running on the beach with my uncle or fishing. Those are the memories. Those are the memories that are worth $1 million. And I wouldn't care how much a person paid. I wouldn't get rid of them for the world. So those are the memories we have to make and really actually take a village to raise a child. And everybody just enjoys, talking, sitting by the fire, anything you can do as a family. We got to dig deeper than surface level. We got to, scratch the surface. Me and my son, we were talking about UFOs yesterday, which I'll probably end up bringing up in the chat later. But we're talking about UFOs, extraterrestrial life, what's out there, the different things. What do I believe they are? So if you got good experiences with your family, share them, and be sure whatever you install in your kids and your loved ones, they can pass down 7 generations for the better of their own. If y'all got something to add to that, please do.
Oh yeah, like you said, yeah, it's a great time to live with your family because y'all can learn more about each other at this moment in time, especially if y'all haven't seen each other in a while. Just have conversation, reflect on what y'all did in the past, play games with your children, anything. Like right now, this is the best time we could ever come together. Even though I have my own opinion about, this coronavirus, but it's like the best time for the community to get together, um, help each other out, and everything else. It's right now we could make something positive out of something negative. That's what I'll say. Something positive out of something negative, which they would never expect.
Oh yeah, we're here because we're supposed to be here in this time, in this moment. If not, we wouldn't be here. So, like I said, this is a learning experience. Like, really think about this. I know this is crazy, but think about this. How many people will be able to tell their children this is something that grandchildren will be able to hear about, great grandchildren will be able to hear about? So it's kind of crazy. So I was thinking about that and I'm like, wait, hold on. This is a time in most people's life they've never seen. But it's funny because other countries experience this all of the time. It's just like I said, we've kind of become spoiled here. We forgot what family is because we look for our own selfish means to do things. We forgot what friendship is because pretty much the word friend here in the United States kind of means free ends. A friend in need is a friend indeed. So, we got to get back to being true friends, clown, have a ball, get out and chill. Make the best of what's considered a bad situation. Because when this is all over, people will talk about this, but you may remember what scared you about this time, but also remember the memories you made within this time, the things that they'll remember forever about this time, the smiles and the laughter in a time of struggle. That is what builds character. It's not about being able to say, oh, I survived, because, surviving is surviving, but being able to smile and make it through a time of struggle and keep, positivity up, that takes a very powerful person. That's just my opinion. Would you like to add?
That's very true. I definitely. I'm sorry. You want to say something, Reggie?
No, you could chime in first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's. I agree with what both of you said, and that is very true. Again, like I mentioned on the other live streams, this is why it is important, especially for many of us who are from the old school era who had a healthy childhood, bringing that into the adulthood. Don't let that die. You know what I'm saying? Don't put that on the shelf. Say, well, that was my yesterday, so I don't have to think about that no more. No, you should think about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that when you get older, you should, bring your past to the future in that sense. But when it comes to the healthy stuff that you did back in the day, when it comes to the family gatherings, like you all mentioned, when it mentioned the sitting around chilling, cracking joke or whatever, or playing board games, that stuff is extremely healthy and it keeps your vibes up. You know what I'm saying? It keeps your frequency up. It keeps your mind healthy. It don't make no sense that mental illness is at its top high, and one of the main reasons why mental illness is high is because a lot of people are going around and they're undiagnosed. You know what I'm saying? Whether they are on a bunch of medication or they're simply just not healing from past wounds or past hurt. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of them are saying that, oh, I'm good, I'm Gucci. You know what I'm saying? I got this. No, you don't got this. You know what I'm saying? You are torn. Many of our people are broken. So with that being said, and usually they say a hurt person hurts other people. And that is very true. So if you hurt, if you distraught, if you in dire straits, any of that, all of that is in your heart, it's in your spirit, it's on your mind. And that's because there is no healing taking place. And then if you happen to have children or grandchildren and you're suffering with this, just imagine what you are passing down to them. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't check that in, if you don't get the proper therapy that you need, it becomes a generational curse. So it starts passing down from generation to generation to generation. And that's where we have to stop. Us as indigenous aborigines of the Americas, we have to stop that because it has gotten to the point where it has become a trend. So we have to stop that. You know what I'm saying? And even and again, when it comes to the old school era, I'm not saying that you have to raise your children, grandchildren like that, but heck, if you want to, you can. Because that'll keep their feet on the right path. And all children need structure. You know what I'm saying? All children need a bedtime. When we were coming up, when they said your bedtime is 8 o'clock, they didn't mean you walk into the bed at 8 o'clock. No, they want your butt in the bed at 8 o'clock, because that's what they meant. You know what I'm saying? And you didn't necessarily have to be asleep, but they wanted you in the bed. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you already know what the repercussions were gonna be. And some of us, we thought maybe our parents were too strict or whatever. But just think, it actually paid off. Parents are not gonna tell their children everything. That's something that you have to find out as you live. When you are being obedient to your parent. You know what I'm saying? You won't always get the answers as a child, and for the most part, you won't, because you still have that mind of a child, so you won't always understand what your parents are trying to tell you. But when you get older, it starts making sense. You know what I'm saying? And if you didn't give your parents a hard time, if you didn't disrespect them or disobey them, it pays off for you in the end. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you gave your parents, nightmares and just gave them a hard time, you best believe you're going to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? So so those of us, or those who have children or grandchildren, whatever, keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Keep the structure in the home, because it's going to pay off. And then when your children get older, when you need to be taken care of, they'll be right there.
Yeah, that's the truth. I mean,
Yeah, everything positive, what you just said. All respect with everything.
oh yeah, especially when you talk about mental health, man. It's
Yes, sir.
there's so many talking points. I mean, not to get like overly depressing, but the suicide rates are up. Mental health is in the gutter right now, and a lot of places won't even acknowledge, if you don't have specific types of health care, they won't even acknowledge mental health. Mental health isn't covered. But
Even if you have health care, they still not. Don't matter if you all health care. I don't even think none of the health care covered, unless like you do something like freakish accident, like not saying this, but shoot up a school or something. Then they'll consider that mental health.
oh yeah, man, like being able to conquer things through um being able to conquer things, especially one, getting diagnosed with mental health, and two, being able to understand what is going on mentally, that is something that's big. um and it was always said to me that my worst enemy is the inner me, but the only thing that can conquer that is positive energy. And when they say energy, they're talking about the creator who is within, who gives positivity. But understanding that being, and not to get too biblical or anything, but it's kind of our fleshly desires, the things we want, that are our worst enemies, man. Like when we want that flashy car, we want that flashy house, or we want these flashy things. Humans are like barracudas for some odd reason. Not all, but some. When they want that flashy stuff and they want to go after it, they will sacrifice their own sanity to get something material to fill a void that can never be filled. And that's something that's very disruptive to people in general. Going after something physical, going after something material in order to fill a spiritual void, those two don't even match. You can't fill the spiritual, you can't fill the spiritual with something material. And yeah, actually, Christopher Grantham, all of us have nightmares. I mean, we all have fears. To have a fear is to be human, but fear in itself is false evidence appearing real. And being able to fight against those things and understand what it is, and then also having a good group of people, like the people in this chat. I want to thank everybody for being here, but it's a good group of people who's able to help each other one by one by one. We're able to help each other. I never know what experience someone else has. That's why I bring out the kind of crazy stuff, because I never know what experience someone else has had unless I talk to them, and then the knowledge or information they have could help me through what I've gone through. But closed mouths don't get fed, and if I never speak on it, how does anyone really know what I'm going through? So, if y'all would like to speak on that, please feel free.
Oh yeah, very true. Because you could take knowledge from anyone, even if it's a small grain. I take it from the the wealthiest to the poorest. Or the people that I take most of my knowledge from people that live on the street. Like they give me advice on, how to maneuver with certain stuff. Like say for instance, if I'm in a certain area and I don't know how to do stuff, it's somebody that's homeless that can also help you in some ability because they made the mistake. They don't want to see you make the same mistake. Uh, while they end up in this predicament. So yeah, I'll conversate with anybody just so they can help me, and then I will help them at the same time, like giving them back advice or anything. Cause I listen to most of us don't be trying to listen to people. We hear what they say, but we don't actually listen. Like my grandma used to tell me, my grandma and mama used to tell me for years, her head make us soft behind. My mama used to tell me, I don't never listen to anything she said. And when I was younger, I used to be bad when I was young. And then when I got to a certain age where I had to get on my own feet, I wish I would have took the advice then instead of took the advice when I got grown. But it wasn't too late. It just I had to learn how to maneuver with certain things in life and learn how to survive and everything. Even when situations come to the worst, I can still know how to survive off of the life even right now today. Like I said, stated to you earlier. Like my people from the country, and if worst comes to worst, I go back to the country. I always make that drive up north to Texas to where my family ranch, big old houses at. Well, big old land, but it's only a few houses on that land, and stay there. And cause I already know how to grow my food and do certain stuff because our family when I was younger, they showed us how to do the stuff, even though I was the hardest one that they used to have trouble with. I used to be the one used to always get a whooping because I wouldn't listen all the time. But eventually, I had to I had to eventually listen because I ain't want no butt whooping after each time they used to tell me and say this will help you in life. So I learned how to grow stuff and everything else and know how to work on my own car.
Yeah, being able to learn and, you know,
That's what's up.
go ahead.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, but I was hard headed at a young age. That's the only thing. I was just hard headed. You couldn't tell me nothing from 5 years old or nothing. I used to set things on fire and stuff. I used to catch a bull with set a lot of stuff on fire. because I used to think that was cool and stuff. I used to get whooping for throwing rocks on the freeway, hitting cars. I used to do a lot of bad stuff, but they used to tell me at the same time getting that whooping, hey, you can't do this. You need to learn how to do this. Stop doing up, stop cutting up and stuff. Eventually, I grew up and grew apart from acting up.
Yeah, you sound like that one bad kid from the Boondocks who was like, I like to smoke wet cigarettes and steal my grandma's truck. My bad.
I was there. Hey, I couldn't steal oh, nah, I wouldn't steal a vehicle. Nah, I already know what the consequence to that. I thought about it, but then when they, shoot, when I picture my grandparents, they'll go kick my butt, shoot, I said, I ain't taking nothing. But I used to do a lot of bad stuff though.
Yeah, because I'm tripping, man. My bad. I'm having flashbacks of the Boondocks with you right now, dude.
Man, that's how it is. Like, shoot, I ain't gonna lie. I used to be a hard headed little child, younger age. Hey, that's true. But
Man,
shoot, I grew up off of it.
no, we all was, because I remember I ran away once, and it was funny. I ran away, and man, I knew I was going, but my mom told me I couldn't cross the street, so I just kept walking around the block for 2 hours. But I was gone. Couldn't nobody tell me nothing.
Oh man, let me not speak on that one. I remember I took a little bit of clothes. My mom and them gave me a whooping. I said I'm running away. They say bye. And I'm thinking I'm running away. By the time I went to the street, I said, man, I'm going back home. I don't know my way from here. I'm going back home in my room. I ain't saying nothing to nobody. They say, oh, you back, huh? Your food is on the table. I said, I only gonna be back for like 5 minutes. Then I'm leaving again. They said, okay. Next morning, brother, I thought you gonna be gone. I don't want to talk about it. That's what I did.
They gonna make a Boondock special about you, boy. I'm telling you. Yeah, but we all, we all had some tough times. Like, people really believe, and it's real funny that people believe you can judge a book by its cover. And everybody always tells you, you can't judge a book by its cover, et cetera, et cetera. You really can't. So don't think that one who looks soft is really soft, and don't think that one who's rough is really rough. Because everybody changes in time. And ultimately, people have different masks. Some people put masks on to make themselves look like somebody they're not, or in order to make the world look a little different. And especially being kids. Being kids, we were taught, especially, growing up as a little boy, when you tough and you ain't supposed to cry, you ain't supposed to do all this stuff, man. We are brought up so emotionally detached as men. Young men are really, really emotionally distraught. So they don't know how to.
Very true.
Oh, go ahead, please elaborate.
That is extremely, extremely true. I have had that conversation a few times. I really started to feel that. I don't know. I'd say within the last 10 years or maybe better. But I started to realize that most of us men are imbalanced when it comes to our emotions, the things that we feel, the things that we want to talk about, but we are afraid to talk about. We are afraid to. The reason why we won't talk about it is because we feel like we're exposing ourselves. And because of the lifelong stereotypes, they're always telling us, oh, man up, real men don't cry. Because they kept telling us that, what they were actually doing was poisoning us. And that right there is a false narrative. You know what I'm saying? So How are you going to tell a man child, a man or a boy, that he's not supposed to cry? If his emotions are bubbling up, what you think is going to happen? He gonna cry. If you don't let him cry right there, he's gonna lose his cool. He's gonna lose his temper, and he could possibly get destructive. And a lot of times when they lose their cool, they huffing and puffing. They done turn colors in the face. After they do that, they are still gonna cry. So you might as well let them cry. Let them get that out of their system. If the ladies can cry, if the girls can cry, so can us boys, and so can us men. If you don't let us, let our emotions out, if you don't allow us to talk about what we are really thinking or what we are really feeling, then that's going to leave us imbalanced. You know what I'm saying? And this is why you have a lot of guys overcompensating their manhood. And that's a red flag right there. So whenever you meet a man that's overcompensating his manhood, if he's walking around real big, bad, and tough, if he's trying to, portray this macho tough guy, watch that. Keep your eye on him, because deep down inside, there's a real soft, tender spot. A lot of times when those guys act like that, that's obviously a chip that we have on our shoulder, but we are so afraid of being called something that we don't want to be called. So a lot of us think that we're being a leader at that point, but you're actually guarded. And because you guarded, another man who is in tune with his feelings can't get to you and help you. You understand what I'm saying? So if a lot of our sisters, our queens, our empresses, if they can get together, if they can have girls' weekend or girls' night out or have seminars or whatever, how come us men can't? When they go do their thing, they come back refreshed, they come back rejuvenated, whereas some of us are still playing the macho tough thing. It shouldn't be where we only quote unquote agree with each other, or we are in total alignment, if you will, when it's time to talk about sports, women, and sex. You know what I'm saying? We need to talk about life, just like what we're doing now. We need to talk about the stuff that we are afraid to talk about. And the stuff that a man needs to talk about, that needs to be kept between him and the brothers, or him and the brother that he's talking to. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't need to be discussed with nobody else. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's deep and personal, because a lot of us have some deep personal stuff. A lot of us guys still won't tell or mention what we're really dealing with or what we're really going through. So a lot of times we are suffering in silence because we are afraid to open up. So that false narrative, all of that stuff, it keeps poisoning us. You know what I'm saying? And those brothers who have sons, open up to your sons. You know what I'm saying? Don't raise your son to be guarded and closed if you're like that. Because I know all fathers are not like that, but those fathers who are, open yourself up when you have sons. You know what I'm saying? Talk to your sons. Don't talk at them. Talk to them, because they are growing too. They're going to go through puberty. They're going to start smelling themselves. They're going to have growing pains. The facial hair is going to come. They're going to have questions. A lot of sons cannot go to the mothers for everything, because mothers won't always have the question for their sons. This is when the fathers step in. And this is why every son needs his daddy. Every son needs his daddy. I know what they've been trying to do for ages is gentrify the father from the household. They knew what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? Because they wanted it to go by a certain program, a certain narrative. But all sons need their daddy. All sons need to learn the ropes, not just birds and the bees, but all sons need to learn the ropes of their father. So they will continue to get the love and nurturing from their mothers because most of us boys flock to our mothers anyway. But at the same time, you need your daddy's love. You need to be balanced. You need stability.
Man, ain't that the truth? You mind if I chime in?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why we got so many young shooters today. I look at a lot of the young boys out there who out there on the turf, man, and emotionally they're detached. I mean, they don't know love, they don't know peace, they don't know inner building. They don't know how to build. A lot of them never have a father figure, so they go out and they attach on to, the gangs. A lot of them run and they look for family in that situation only because by design, the households are split. It's been rare since I've seen people actually sit down and have a family dinner. Me and my family still do it just because, it helps with morale and it helps building and just to be able to talk about your day. But there's a lot of young kids out there who are growing up as shooters to prove who they are. They're growing up and they're getting out there and they're doing stupid stuff to prove who they are, ultimately because they lack the love of the family, or they were taught the same way that we were taught, that real men don't cry, we hold it in, real men are tough. But understanding, getting out there and being too tough it gets a lot of these boys in a lot of trouble. And being a dad, watching my son grow up, the different things he has to go through in life and understanding, and then being from the background I'm from, I'm actually able to sit down, and things have changed, but as much as they've changed, they've stayed the same. As many of these kids are still out in the street, as many of these kids are still acting tough, man, believe me, it was one of them things you got to learn, because you got a lot of homeboys from the turf, man. But when you sitting down, ain't nobody writing you a kite, ain't nobody putting money on your books.
Right.
But as soon as you get back out, everybody want to dap you up and be like, you never left the hood. Nah, and that's something that, the love is only there when you're around it. And then when you leave it, or you're stuck, or you doing a number or a bid for somebody, that love is no longer there anymore. And you just out of sight, out of mind for a lot of the homies. And then when you come back to the turf, man, it's like not a day passed and they want you back on the same stuff. But why would someone who truly loves you or who is truly a friend want to put you back in the same situation that you were in? But the majority of them, well, I'm not going to say them, I'll say the majority of us, the majority of us need to sit down and be able to talk and relate to each other and be able to talk out these problems. And it could probably stop a lot of the violence that's going on, ultimately, because being bound up and then looking for friends and family within a social structure that constantly pushes violence, and then the narrative for being a man is violent and degrading to women and smoke weed. And back in the day in the 90s when rap came out, most people were drug dealers, but now in the 2000s, 2020s, they're influencing kids to become drug users. I've never seen a generational gap that switches so fast, where one generation's music, you had one that was, back in the day, it was pimping and baby booming. Then it turned into complete disrespect for women and becoming a drug dealer, a hustler, and a flosser. Now it's all about how many drugs you can do. I'm not going to get into the whole cursing part, but we get the gist of the music today. But how many kids can sit down, and how many men or how many adults in general get to sit down and just talk and be like, all right, well, let's go ahead and chop it up about real life. Because if kids and adults are getting their messages from movies and music, then we're completely lost, and we're allowing ourselves to be brainwashed, because we're no longer a community that learns. We're a community that literally just bites trends that we see that we believe are popular. So, sorry for rambling on, but y'all can elaborate.
Oh, give me a second. I'm gonna elaborate on it.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, through what I talked about in the last well, don't know if it was the last live or not, but what I always say is that you can start a fire, and a fire out of control burns down a nation, but a fire held and cultivated warms the hearts of many. So we got to be that fire. We got to be that flame that people hand around and that warms the hearts, being able to understand what goes on in everyone else's lives and being able to help. Because literally a lot of young people lose their lives, and not only in a physical way, but in a mental way, because they don't know how to cope. They don't have, and like Mr. Dark Fly Brother was talking about, being a man is kind of tough because we don't know, and being emotionally detached. We A lot of men don't have coping mechanisms, because to be able to break down or to sit down or be able to cope, you're considered to be soft or less than a man. But when did that when did your ability to cope make you a man? You get what I'm saying? So we
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep.
go ahead.
Yep.
Oh, because I was gonna say I'm part of the younger generation, even right now. I'm still in my 20s, but like you was elaborating, I don't know, but the music I would listen to, what my grandma and them put me on, was soul music. So I didn't listen to gangster music until I was in my when I knew about Tupac and all them. I was like late late in my teens, and then when I got to the music now today, it was just now recently, like Young Thug and Lil Uzi Vert that talk about drugs. But either way you look at it, cause how I see it, both sides, like the '90s generation was wrong for talking about selling drugs because you putting it on your people, and then this generation wrong, our generation wrong for telling them to take drugs. It's like it just flipped in the reverse. The whole thing flipped from selling drugs to taking drugs, and like also a lot of people don't have like they fathers in their life, and I seen that was a trend, especially when I was young. I always had my uncle now, even though my father wasn't around. But I always had my uncle now, so they have disciplined me up to this point. But that's how I really can't get too much on it. But that's all I can say.
All right, well, we got another guest who joined in. Guess who? What's going on?
Peace, guess who?
Oh, I appreciate that.
Peace.
Thank you. I don't really have a space right now. I'm still working on that, but it's okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, you all good. You all good, man. We just come on here and build. What's going on?
Nothing much. I really think it's better to hear people in person too, because it's really weird typing. It's like there's no emotion or like passion behind words, so people don't really understand or get it.
No, no, I completely understand. I definitely understand that. That's why I like to bring a couple people on here who can relate. We chop it up. Eventually get on some randomness, but it didn't lead to that one today. So we'll see which way it goes. Yeah, because in all actuality, man, I guess the next build's gonna have to be about UFOs and aliens. This one got a little deeper than I thought, a little longer than I thought.
Oh, I get cause I thought you was gonna talk about spiritual stuff because you said that the other day.
Oh,
When you last time on live, you said that, and that would be a good topic because many people don't know about that. I know my grandma told me a little bit about it, but I have to find out stuff on my own. Like like I told you, my grandma, we could sit and talk, but I don't like visit. I'll go visit my grandma, but we'll have like chats about you know personal stuff and everything. But right now, I don't talk to her about spiritual stuff because me and my grandma is because I'm trying to like get an extra bond, trying to figure out listen to her story, how she grew up and stuff, and then plus like the picture I have is a picture of
Oh,
my grandma
enough. I
and my daughter.
forgot the other day. I
And my
tried.
daughter look exactly like my grandma right now.
I know
And
we look like poor motherfucker.
but my grandma I'm trying to get my grandma to get more building time with her great grandchild so she can because I don't know how long she probably be on this earth.
Yeah, can you? How do you mute this mic?
Oh, there's a
You had me
button.
to
There should be a button down there at the bottom that
say
just,
auto.
there you go.
It's a
Um,
auto.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, spirituality. To be honest with you, spirituality is a topic that's built for, that's kind of a rough topic because you get into belief systems, individual belief systems, and then you get versus your own. Um, Spirituality is good to speak on as long as we have we can speak on it. Normally it has to be with like-minded people because I found out when you speak on spirituality and individual belief systems, it turns into an argument really quickly if someone doesn't believe in what someone else does. As far as me, I'm a firm believer in the great creator. I believe, I can speak on being Israelite, many different things, but if someone else doesn't believe that, when we bring in spirituality, ultimately you can cause a lot of disagreements. So normally politics, I like to stay away from religion. Spirituality is beautiful, but if we don't have the same mind frame, everyone will clash ultimately because um this what
They'll
I
think your spirituality is with the religion. Cause I see
yes.
that a lot. I see that a lot because I remember when Dane was talking about it on our TV channel, and somebody had brought up with the Hebrew stuff, and he said it's spiritual, but it's a touchy topic because everybody think it's a religion. So yeah, I understand your point of view.
Yeah, so like, stuff like the Mandela effect, stuff like, UFOs, different things. It's kind of fun to talk about. But trust me, if you mention something about spirituality or which way it's taken, everyone has their own independent relationship with the creator, whether it's we could even be from the same spiritual background. But since everyone has their own independent relationship with the creator, I had to kind of cut the spirituality thing short and maybe jump on something a little crazier like UFOs or something, that people don't normally talk about. Because
I mean, I really feel like the spiritual part actually really connects everything. Like even when you talk about like the stories, and even I like growing up, I've heard traditions, and and I'm mixed. So like especially because I hear from totally different cultures, and like I hear like the same thing, and I'm like, whoa, like that's a trip. Like how come this and this are so similar, and I get really confused, and I have all these schools telling me like this people are this people and this people this people, and really I think it's just it all got mixed around, you know what I mean? And I think for sure it's easy to, I think people who deserve to will find out who's who, but on just speaking on the spiritual part, like without, the eyes to see, you're not going to really like, people are looking at it like a physical thing, and it's not, it's really like a spiritual thing to like separate people and to know who's carnal and who's not. Because people can say like, oh, I do this or I do that, but then in practice they really don't do that, or they don't believe that, or they don't even understand where their traditions come from. Like I even see some people like they'll do some things from certain religions or churches, and I'll be very confused because I'll be like, I never read anything that said to do that or to do this or do that, but you guys are doing this anyways. These are like man-made things, So and it's really interesting when I go back to like the old folklore stories, like especially that Anu Breed brings up, or like a lot of the other YouTubers, Kurameo, he's amazing. I think he's awesome. It sucks that a lot of people argue over his stuff. I don't know why, but that's why it is a touchy topic. But the spiritual part, that's what really is going to bind people because that's why I believe God said there's no excuse for the spirit because everybody can see the spirit. There's no excuse for saying, "Oh, I can't see that."
Yeah, that's true. But people, I don't know why, man. People generally tend to argue. It's kind of hard. Heard a couple brothers. They were talking about different. Well, actually, Patrick Pinson said it. It's pretty much your own individual observation. And when people jumped on that, it kind of was a throw off because I would talk about how I had my relationship with the creator. They could talk about how they had theirs, and ultimately, we never had a meeting point. Um, but as far as like going back into folklore, different things, I tell each people have your spiritual relationship as you see fit. My belief may not be for you, but at the same time, if we are to meet up on that spiritual plane, it will happen. Ultimately, we'll come together, and those who are meant to be together will be together spiritually. It's just a matter of time. So ultimately, through the builds and as we learn to grow with each other one at a time, and being from different tribes, of course, I do a lot of different folklore from different tribes. So even from tribe to tribe, we may not be able to see the same thing, but like you said, the stories do relate. I mean, the stories do correlate. I could tell you 13 different flood stories that vary in very minute ways. But some people would argue over if it was the woman who fell from the sky, or if the land was created on the turtle's back, or how the stars were formed. Was it formed in one way, or was it formed by Mother Corn throwing dust into the air? And that could start a whole argument. I've seen it do it at some of the powwows. It's crazy. But yeah, but that's the biggest thing, is being able to just come together and enjoy the time that we have in this time. I'm going to try and do lives because, like I said, I don't know how many days they're going to have us working, because pretty much till further notice for the rest of the month, my job is pretty much shut down. So,
I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm for sure gonna be praying for all of you. Yeah, the herbs thing, that's serious. Use the herbs. Like they did that. The Thieves Guild did that during the Black Plagues. I recommend it for anybody. Use herbs. Every scientist, exists now. They've already proven it. You can research it. You can Google it. And it's gonna be better than alcohol. So I would, just stay safe. I'm sorry about occupation, man. That's a hard one. Prepare, in any way, and just pray. Pray it up.
oh no, I'm thankful for this time. I'm very thankful for this time. I get to sit down in nature. I get to ground myself. I'm going outside, kicking off my shoes, sitting out there. It's still a little cold, but I'm able to develop my relationship with the creator in these times, being able to, just enjoy. My bad, Reginald. Go ahead.
That's how I feel.
No, I was gonna ask you, have you ever do anybody walk outside? Well, apparently, not on concrete, but walk outside in the grass without their shoes on.
Yup.
Cause like I do that in the country a lot. Just go outside, no shoes on, and sit by the tree, and just think, just get in the space of my own, where
Oh yeah.
nobody bother me.
Well, you got to ground yourself, man. Just like anything, negative energy, every energy has to be grounded. It doesn't matter what type of energy it is. Every electric pole or every electric wire grounds to the earth. Just like humans, if we have negative energy, if we take in positive energy up top from the sun and from the creator, the negative energy has to bleed through our feet back into the dirt. So that's part of nature. It's part of, my tribal heritage, being able to sit down and really just bask in the sun barefooted. And I may get hit for this one, but it even says biblically, it says, take your shoes off. This is holy ground.
Yep.
So they were telling you on holy ground, your shoes are supposed to be off. You don't desecrate the ground with your shoes. So when you go to a place that is holy to you
Right.
and you're enjoying the creator, take your shoes off, put your feet in the dirt. Positivity goes in through the top and negativity goes out through the bottom. We're like a cup. Eventually, too much negativity, you'll spill over. But if you have shoes on your feet, you can't push the negativity and get that back into the ground. So therefore, the balancing act is not done properly.
And
Oh, very true.
I don't know if
Oh,
anybody
you,
here's a big
you,
like reader of the Bible, but I read it a lot, and I read especially like the New Testament and the instructions and the new ones. And one of the things he says is actually to get leather sandals. And when you wear leather sandals, like the sweat actually goes into the leather, and you actually what it does is it discharges the electricity off your body. So like what he's trying to say is like wear something that grounds your feet, because that has to do with your health. Your feet, all the toxins go out your feet. You know, your feet are like the bottom of your temple. So your feet, if you don't clean them, if you don't take care of them, it's really bad.
oh, very true. But your grandmother's or grandfather still living?
No, nah, I don't have any of them left.
Oh, because I was gonna ask you. Well, did they ever talk to you about their history or their past? Like when you ever before they passed on to the next life?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's where I got a lot of my spirituality from, and really dealing with my tribal heritage. It came from my family, and a lot of the superstitions I have, a lot of beliefs I have. You know, that was one of the things where my grandfather, he wouldn't, if he didn't have to shake your hand, he wouldn't, because he believed that surface on your hand, you could transmit spirits. So he never would shake a man's hand. He would grab their wrist and say, "We shake by shaking wrist." So
Ooh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he never shook
I learned
hands.
I
I
heard
learned that one.
really
Wow.
cool.
Not long, like 2 years ago. Actually, somebody that's my age who told me about it, told me the same thing you said. He said that he never shake hands. He always shake wrists. And like the thing I do, I don't shake hands. I just give you dap because I believe in that form too. I always was giving dap. I never shook people hand unless it's my girl or I give my girl and my daughter a hug. That's it. But anybody else, I just give them a fist bump.
Yeah, oh, sorry, guess who? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, that's kind of because that's kind of like inviting somebody in. I know what you mean, and you know you got to be careful about that.
Yeah, Mr. Dark Fly brother, I saw you click in, man. You got a comment? Go for it.
No, it's all good. I was just listening to everybody else. Yeah. Hey, I'm just flowing. I don't really have a comment at that point. I definitely agree with you about the walking on holy ground, though, because you know, you know, I, I know a lot of us were um, raised in church, no matter what your denomination or persuasion was, but that was oftentimes mentioned about taking your shoes off and walking on holy ground. So yeah, definitely get that.
And I actually want to mention, like, I've had weird experiences happen when I've like followed God's instruction. Like anytime I've done what God has asked me to do, even like reading, and I do it instruction, it doesn't make sense, but I do it not because I have faith. Like something weird will happen or something will come of it, and I've always experienced that. And it is nice when you can be led by something you can't see.
Oh,
Oh,
someone said a new breed. Someone said in the chat that don't let nobody touch your hair.
that's
But
what I was actually about to bring up. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
G
G
West,
West said, yeah,
don't ever let anyone touch your hair, and don't ever, especially in a man, don't ever let anyone touch your head.
Yeah, actually, the
Um,
Bible says that it
yeah,
does. Don't let nobody do that because that's like you don't know if they're gonna try to transfer, you know, like this. It sounds weird, but it's true, man.
Yeah, that stuff is real, especially in the spiritual. Yeah, actually, Opie Mia is just like me. We bald, so ain't got no hair to touch. But yeah, that's true though. It's spoken of in most religions. It's spoken of in most religions that you're not supposed to touch a person's head, and you really have to watch how people lay hands on you. There's a reason why the palms and the bottom of the feet are the way they are. People will take that for granted. It's a completely different type of skin, and your body absorbs more through the palms of your hand and the bottom of your feet than anywhere else. So we tell people be very careful. I refuse to touch hands. If I don't have to shake your hand, I don't. And even if I do shake hands, it has to be a person I know who has good energy. Because if you're able to focus on energy and you touch a person's hand, you can feel what spirits, you can read what a person is feeling or emotionally trying to push to you through the palms of their hands. That stuff is terrifying, man. I'm not even gonna lie on that level.
And when I think about like people, like a person touching somebody's head, like I really think about like that conditioning, like, oh, good job, son. Here, let me pat you on the head. You know, like I think we've really been conditioned to be touched on the head too. Like even with coaches, teachers, like everybody, like we you know, it's so comfortable for us too.
Oh, we're around vampires. You have to think. And when I say vampires, I'm talking about spiritual vampires. People who put their
mine was
and they belittle you, and not only belittle you, they drain your energy by putting palms on you. There are energy vampires, spiritual vampires. There are people who suck energy from you every day, whether it's through your computer, through a Facebook page, people you see in person, people you talk to. Okay, now we start to lead into the spiritual, but we can rock. But yeah.
Oh, dude, Bree, I was just about to say, well, when I was playing football, when I was like in the little league, my coach didn't never touch nobody hand. He'll smack him on the butt, like, "Hey, good job," or something. I like, what the hell? And when he tried to do me like that, I was like, "Hey, don't do that. Don't smack me on the no butt."
Well, that's how people don't realize how much you open yourself up. Like, you know, a hug from a family member makes you feel warm, but a handshake from an enemy will make you feel ice cold.
And that's why I love like hanging out with my dad, because like my dad made a lot of mistakes, but that's one thing he taught me, like, don't ever like let a man touch you like that. Like one time, like, and I have nothing against, I really don't, anybody, you know, I have an aunt who, you know, does that, whatever. But you know, one time he had a guy, he tried to kiss him, you know, he beat him up. You know, second day he was cool with him. He said, "Hey, what's up? You want to drink again?" You know, passed him a beer. He tried to kiss him again. He beat him up again. Hey, he tried to kiss him again. Third day, he was like, "Hey, you want to have a beer?" He was like, "No, I'm good." He's like, "It's cool. Just don't try to kiss me." You know, that's all.
I'm sorry. My bad. But yeah, people got, you know, spiritually, people have bad intentions, man. And that's why I'm not up for shaking hands. Like I said, I'll dap somebody, I'll fist bump, I'll elbow, you know, stuff like that. But nah, man, back in the day, I used to go to church, and pastor put his hands on my head, and he was like, he was trying to push. And I'm like, look, first off, you ain't gonna push me. Second off, get your hands off me, dog, because you've been doing some foul stuff. And he looked at me. It's like, no, I can read you better than you can read me. Because being spiritually in tune with people, it's a throw off. But yeah, actually, oh man, we gonna have to drop the rest on another live, because I actually promised that I was gonna sit down and play World War Z. So my son wanted to jump on that World War Z and kill some zombies tonight.
God bless.
But yeah, man, hey, definitely, I want to thank everybody for coming through. The next build will dive more into spirituality, possibly UFOs, but we won't get into the religious parts of spirituality. Is everybody kind of cool with that?
Really touchy. That gets touchy. It does.
All right, peace, y'all.
Oh, no problem, man. I want to thank y'all for getting on. Mr. Dark Brother, definitely thank you. Guessu, thank you for hopping on. Reginald Green, you know, hey, many blessings to everybody. And if y'all got any final remarks for the chat, please feel free to drop them if you want. Oh, well, in that case, guess not. So,
Bless,
go
bless
ahead.
everybody. Use the herbs, guys. Don't forget the herbs. That sounds silly, bro, but man, you guys will be okay. So just use those herbs, and then pray for everybody, man. I hope everybody stays employed for real.
Oh, definitely. Many blessings, man. Like I said, I want to thank everybody for coming out. I hope everybody enjoyed. It's about hitting that time where I got to kill massive amounts of zombies. So yeah, just get off a peaceful live stream and then just go shoot up zombies on World War Z. Yeah, I'm leading by a wonderful example. So yeah, I'll catch y'all
So
tomorrow.
sometimes family is just the best, bro. That's
Hey, my son came down and my son came down and gave me the evil eye. Like, all right, Dad, we supposed to kill some zombies right now. I'm like, all right, hold on, zombie killing it is. I disappointed him. I ain't gonna hear that one. We going for a record tonight. Zombie killer number 1. So yeah. Oh, this Dark Fly, brother. We ended it up. So if you got any final remarks, please feel free, my brother.
Yeah, my bad, man. I got kicked out. It was just a matter of time. I started hearing the breaking up, and I'm like, please don't. And lo and behold, that got kicked out. But whatever. But this was a. I mean, all of your lives are fantastic and positive, but it was nothing but rich, rich flow coming through tonight, and everything that was said was great. You know, excellent vibes. This was definitely needed, especially of what's been taking place around us. With the coronavirus pandemic, and a lot of people are freaking out. But your the overall vibes of your live streams and just talking about various subjects, it it keeps us calm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of us are calm. A lot of us are petrified or whatever, but a lot of us are calm. But even with the topics that we are discussing tonight, even with the rebuttals, the piggyback and whatever, it just keeps us it keeps our frequencies high. And that's what I told somebody this earlier today. If we keep our frequency high, we will ride this out. So while everybody else is running here, running there, running here, running there to get stuff, we're gonna be riding it out. Saying, yes, we know what we need to do on our part, but at the same time, we're keeping our vibrations high, we're keeping our frequencies high. So as long as we, stay up and don't let our vibe or our frequency drop, we'll be good. We'll be good.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Definitely, brother. Definitely. It's always wonderful to have you on. Guess who? Thank you for coming on. And like I said, everybody, before I get beat up, I'm going to end this live. I want to thank everybody for coming through. And tomorrow we'll try for around the same time. We just got to see if they put me on the schedule for work or not. Because with this stuff, man, it's been weird. But ultimately, I'm going to enjoy the time I got and take it for a lesson. And I hope everybody else does the same. So, hey, peace, many blessings, and understand the only enemy is the inner me. So once you can conquer that, don't worry. No external enemy can ever hurt you.
yeah, for employment. I mean, just be humble. If you're humble, I think everybody will be fine. Like, as long as you're humble, spiritually, you're cool. Like, most of the time, those are the people who always make it.
So yeah, thanks again. I'm gonna go ahead and end this one, and we'll try again tomorrow. I'll put it up on me. I'll put it up on my up on the board in advance, just so people know to hop through. Thanks again, y'all.